We're back after a week off. It's the Fantasy League. We're in the group stages now. Looking at the standings from last time, Pinky is now gone, scoring the lowest score, and Steph in the lead. But it doesn't matter anymore because we wiped the scores going into the group stages. And after a couple of weeks of group stage action predicting fastest objectives, whoever's fourth is gone. It's that simple. So, every point counts, and the only way we can get points is by predicting correctly. And like we say, we're looking for fastest objectives, and the match of the week this week is G2 versus Koi. D has gone for a G2 win, with Koi getting a couple of objectives in Dragon and First Blood. I have went for a G2 sweep. Sorry, G2 are just too strong on all objectives. Stefan went with an almost G2 sweep, but Koi getting the fastest First Blood, which could happen. And Terry also went for a G2 sweep. But there's other games as well, and let's go into an updated version of the group's rundown. Okay, so I'm going to condense this down into just the fastest objectives of games here, and it's XL versus Mad Lions, and Game 1's fastest objectives was, well, a clean, slow XL Herald after losing First Blood, and the fastest win of the series, just shy of 29 minutes. With XL in the comedy of errors getting what they needed. Speaking of comedy of errors, fastest First Blood came in the second game. This thing happened, but it was XL's way. They also, after that, moved to get themselves the fastest dragon of the series. Mad Lions, while XL were getting their second dragon, got the fastest tower in the mid lane and also got a kill lead. And then XL got themselves a 23-minute-ish Baron and did nothing with it, but they still got the game. Match 2 was XL versus Fnatic. Fnatic favoured for this one, so the shock that SK just read them like a book and got the fastest win in Game 1 shocked a bit of people. And then, just carried on. They got themselves the fastest dragon in Game 2. Every other objective came from Game 2 now. First Blood did go to Fnatic. This top lane fight between a Gwen and a Cassante, and then, cheeky Sejuani interference. SK just about picked up fastest Herald here, by about 3 seconds. There or thereabouts. Fastest tower also went to SK down the bottom lane after Fnatic got themselves the second kill. Fnatic were getting back into this. The fastest Baron came from SK 2 seconds quicker than their Game 1 Baron. Early Morning Ryan continues this commentary with Group 1, Match 1, BDS versus Heretics. Now, fastest Herald was picked up in Game 2 by BDS. We're looking at First Blood, but not from who you think it was. Fastest win came from Game 2 as well, by BDS. Note that Heretics had already picked up the first win, so this brings it to an exciting best of 1. And fastest First Blood only happened a couple of minutes in to Game 3, picked up by Heretics. And fastest Dragon, used with Ivan bushes, also went to Heretics. Then fastest Tower ended up down to BDS, who started gaining momentum, and by the time they got fastest Baron, 20-minute Baron, they got themselves through to the next round anyway. And the other match in Group 1 was G2 versus Koi, and fastest First Blood came in the first game. Jax just getting, I believe the words are shit on. Then fastest Dragon came in that same game by G2. As did fastest Herald by Koi. Just chilling, mean that arrow. Game 3. Game 2. Brought the fastest tower. And the fastest Baron. Went G2's way. And by that kill score, things weren't going much better for Koi. Fastest win. And the series win went to G2. So let's bring in our updated predictions now. Looking at SK versus XL and BDS versus G2. And oh no, Terry didn't do the right predictions. Well, we know the rules. He's out. D though went for G2 majority predictions and SK predictions. I went for a G2 sweep and gave XL a win, a tower and a herald. SK getting the rest. And Stefan went for a G2 sweep and SK majority in predictions. So, let's continue the rundown and see how those matches happened. So we look at the Group 2 winners match, XL versus SK. This went to 3. And SK doing 20-minute Barons. They got fastest Baron. The only fastest prediction in Game 1. Tower was picked up fastest in Game 2 by SK. As was the win. So again, this became a best of 1 after XL picked up the first game. Fastest first blood went to SK in the bottom lane. Just an absolute catch out. Markoon just, well, wanting revenge on anyone. Fastest dragon was also picked up by SK. And the fastest herald was picked up by XL. Now this doesn't show much, but XL did pick up this series 2-1. It was a good fight. Both teams. G2 versus BDS was the other winners match, and fastest first blood went to BDS. 46 seconds. Was it 45? 45. Herald was picked up by G2 as the fastest objective. It started off well for BDS and then just didn't. Fastest tower was also picked up by G2 in Game 1. And fastest Baron. It's not one of those 20-minute Barons, but you know, it just happened. Then, fastest win was also picked up in Game 1. Now, did BDS get any fastest objectives? No, this all happened in Game 1. Well, yes, they did actually. They got the fastest dragon. They still lost the series 2-0. Right, let's update the scores for Stage 2. And here it is. D is currently on top with 22 points. Stefan and myself are on 19. Now we're going to roll these points throughout the entirety of the group stage and playoffs. Whoever's top joins Martin and Pinky in the final prediction game. We'll see what happens to him. But until then, we'll see you next week. Toodle pip.